Over the years, Grand Theft Auto 5 has had a bunch of new cars added in the form of online updates, and one of the things that they have added over time is the Bosozoku style in GTA 5. And as you can see here, I have the Warrener and I have the Silvestra, both of which offered Bosozoku V-style pipes, and in the case of the Warrener, did have this nice jutted out bottom here on the front bumper, and also this little spike on the bonnet. But the thing was, I always had a complaint about this because it wasn't really full Bosozoku. There was always a little bit missing, especially when it comes to this front bonnet bit here. Normally, if we look at other Bosozoku style cars in real life, you can see that one of the main things is they actually have wing extensions that pull round and bring the whole front end forward, and it just basically just makes it look a lot more spikier. This one always just looked a bit odd to me because it was just a spiky bonnet sticking out with nothing on the side, and that is why today I thought we should check out this Datsun Bluebird 910 SSS. Now, I know what you're thinking, this isn't a law-friendly car, this is obviously going to be a bit more like real life, but I just want to look at this today because I wanted to make something actually Bosozoku looking, because this doesn't really cut it for me, and I think that Rockstar really need to take a look at cars like this in how they go forward with putting Bosozoku parts on their cars. So let's jump in and have a look at the parts on this. Typical. So here is the Datsun 910, and I will say that this mod isn't crazily detailed, it doesn't have high quality textures or anything like that. I think it's actually taken from Gran Turismo as a model, but it's just because I wanted to check out some of the parts and just to get the general vibe of this thing, because I just want this general vibe more inside of law-friendly cars in GTA 5. So for the spoiler options, we have a bunch of stuff. We've got the mid-level spoiler, we've got the high-level spoiler, we've got the high... Okay, I probably shouldn't have done that, should I? We have another high-level spoiler, we have the drag wing, quite a lot of parts that we've seen before in other cars, the lip spoiler, the ducktail spoiler, and the high-level spoiler. I'm going to go for the ducktail on this one. I will say this doesn't have any of the big, massive style ones that we can see on Bosozoku cars. That one seems to also be a bit of miss, but we'll go for ducktail in this case. On the front bumper here, we have big lower lips. We've got some littler ones, then we've got the Bosozoku style ones in secondary and primary colors. Then we have these lower lips, and then we have these massive ones here. And it's those that I want to go for. It does also have remove, which... not a fan of this one because it just looks a bit janky, but I mean, if you want that, you can do that. So I'm going to stick on Bosozoku Lip Paint 1. On the rear bumper, we have our stock and painted. Then we have black and remove. I'm going to keep that black just because I think it's going to match more with the front, because I know that we can actually change this bumper in a little bit. On the skirts, we have our low skirts, and then we have our lower skirt, so naturally going to go for the lower skirt. On the exhaust, we have our exhaust delete, we have our chrome tip, titanium tip, and then we have two types of Shakatan exhausts. I'm just going to go for the larger one. On the chassis, we have some roll cage options. Sure, why not? I'll go in secondary color. On the grille, we have exposed intercooler. This is actually more, well, this is a oil cooler rather than an intercooler. We can have that going through the light. That's definitely a lot more Bosozoku style. I will say that the modeling is kind of questionable with some of these parts, but again, I'm talking about the overall vibe here. We also have removed grille, but I'm just going to go for that exposed oil cooler. Then on the bonnet here, we have the options of remove, flat, Bosozoku, and Bosozoku with the pointed thing. Now, this is what I was talking about. This bit here. In GTA, all they did was they took this style bonnet and they just basically brought it out from the original wing, and it just never really looked right. I want to go for this flatter one because I'm more of a fan of the flatter style ones. And if we go to fenders here, now we can add the remaining piece. This is what has been missing the whole time. And in fact, we could even go one further because sometimes you can even go over the indicator light. Sadly, this one doesn't have that option. I think I might have to go on a deep dive of Bosozoku style cars, so I'm probably going to do another video soon. Actually, thinking about it, I think this one's probably more useful for parking, so yeah, let's do that. We'll upgrade our engine, but that's not really the point of this car. We'll knock the suspension down as well. We can get that really low to the ground. Of course, V-stance will help us later anyway. On our paints, we have a nice selection. Now, I might want to set that to the secondary color. I did not realize this would be two-tone. I'm going to set this top to light gray and set the bottom to red. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be a fun color. I've also noticed we've also got both primary and secondary on this, which I'm not really a fan of. I've got to say, overall, the overall quality of this car isn't the highest. Or should I flip these around? Maybe I'll put red on top. Okay, yeah, that's probably going to work a bit better. So let's go back and change that to paint 2. Now that's going to match better. And we also have some extra options here. So we have red seats, which we might have to go for here. We also have black seats and remove left seat. I'm going to go for red seats just because it's going to match all the colors. We have one option for the wheel, which is just this vertex wheel. We have the options to remove front plate, which isn't really going to benefit us right now because we don't really have plates on the front. We could have this plate, but it's just going to hover. Again, when I say Rockstar take notes, don't take note of the quality. Take note of the styling choices. We have some options again for the bumper, which is going to add the this bumper back, which doesn't really suit this look. But we can adjust the bumpers as well. But for the sake of this, we're just going to keep it with the removed bumpers. On the trim, we could remove the badge that's on the grille, so we'll do that. And for this trim on the side, we can get rid of all of the trim, apart from that one bit for some reason. In that case, I'm just going to keep the trim there because it looks kind of odd just with the bluebird bit there. So onto the wheels, and well, I should probably look for something that might fit on a Bosozoku car. Actually, that instantly works. Actually, I'm going to go with these equip wheels because this is actually a real car, so let's go for a real set of wheels on this one. And these 4 spokes, I think, fit the car really well. Naturally, though, V-Starter is going to have to come to the rescue because this fitment is terrible. So I'm going to knock the wheel size down a bit. And I'm going to bring the wheels out. And, well, I'm probably just going to camber them. Sadly, with this mod, it only gives us giant chunky tires, which doesn't really fit with the vibe because I'd have gone for some stretch tires ideally. But there we go, and I've also lowered it down on the front to give it a little bit of rake. I guess I could even lower that down even more if I wanted, and then just fix that front camber. And yeah, there we go with that build. Now let's just compare this to the Warrener. So now if I select this bonnet that we have, the Gratchan hood on the Warrener, now you can see what I mean. This one has a whole extension on the wing that matches the massive poking out part of the bonnet, whereas this one, it just sort of blended in from the standard length of the wing, and then it poked out forward, and it just doesn't have the same look. This has always looked really strange to me, and I know that there's that point, which we could also have with this one, which, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of. At least the point on this one has this wing attachment too. This one has always just looked dumb, and I really wish that Rockstar could have just added the option that extended the wings forward so we had this. Whether it's like this one where we just have it on the top, or we have a whole selection coming up here on the side that covers up the indicators as well. So admittedly, this is a car that we're going to have to look at from a distance just because sadly the quality is not all there, but the style is exactly what I'm after. And I think what I'm going to do after this video, I'm going to try and look for something a bit higher quality. And I think if you guys know of a better Bosozoku mod, maybe like the ultimate Bosozoku mod, let me know in the comment section below because I'm really curious to check it out and build a proper one. I've just really been in a mood for these sort of cars lately, and I'm hoping that something can really scratch that itch for me. But until then, here is this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.